Brats, I have been playing VR and enjoying VR for like 6 years now, but I have never gotten to try one of those fancy gun stocks that you see that you lock your controllers into for competitive gaming like Pavlov, Onward, Contractors. Today, that is all about to change thanks to a company called Sanlaki. Let's check this out. Now, they've sent us several things here. We're gonna open this up. Small, sharp unboxing knife. You know what we do here. We always wanna use something small and safe. You don't wanna risk anybody around you. I need to sharpen this pirate sword, I think. Boom. Okay, when all else fails and your knife isn't sharp enough, get another one. We got to go a little smaller and a little safer. Let's try this one out. Oh yeah. We've got instructions. We've got a tennis paddle we will be reviewing in another video. We've got an extra mod they sent us that changes something about the grip. We're going to learn about this together because I actually don't know how that works. And then the rest of this has got to be the Gunstock. So some assembly is required. We got pieces for inside controllers. We got metal shoulder stock. We've got a part that kind of actually resembles a gun. Oh dang, they sent us the shoulder strap too. I didn't think they were including this. We got a shoulder strap so we can go all fancy over the shoulder with it. We've got a barrel. We've got a sight and an empty box. Where did my controllers go? Now, Sanlaki has these. These work for Quest 1, Quest 2, and Rift S. I'm gonna be interested to see how these are universal because I know the controllers have a slightly different design, but I'm guessing because these only attach to the tracking rings must be shaped the same. Okay, so first of all, these rings, basically the way this whole thing is gonna work is you're gonna have magnets built into these that are gonna be attaching to this. And then these are always gonna stay mounted inside of your controllers. Now, they do have tape in case you wanna go full hardcore, never have these come off again. I'm not gonna leave these on all the time because I'm gonna be switching these between different headsets, different controllers. But basically, these are designed to just snap inside. And one advantage of that to others, some of them attach directly to the outside and may block a few of your tracking lights. These ones in theory shouldn't do that at all. These should stay in place. Even without the tape, it's staying pretty solidly there. Not too hard to remove them either, you just kind of squeeze it. It's all 3D printed plastic. So see, essentially you got these two, these are gonna lock up to the gun. Let's get the gun assembled. Now what you've got here, one thing that's a minor concern you wanna be careful with, you are screwing metal threads into a plastic piece that has plastic threads inside of it. So be gentle, take your time getting these in. Once you get this in the first time, you shouldn't have to undo this again, so you shouldn't be putting much risk here, but this is definitely something that you don't wanna cross-thread this thing and ruin it the first time you use it. So already there, you're starting to see it come together. Sight, I mean, this is totally unnecessary. I'll throw it on here for fun and for the look, but realistically, there's no reason when you're in VR that you need to have this sight on there. Okay, this is a weird feeling because I've never used one of these. These are what pros swear by, although this one from Sanlaki, if you were to only buy the gun, this is $90. If you were to go really hardcore, like a lot of compares, you'd buy maybe something from ProTube for $100 or hundreds of dollars. This is definitely gonna be a bit more of a budget-friendly option for you, but because of that, I do believe there will be some potential trade-offs. Like right now, what I'm feeling, there's a little bit of slack. This might actually be good in game, but there's a little bit of slack with where this one lands. When you're using this in game, if you've never played a game like Contractors or Pavlov, your left hand has to be free. It has to be able to be free. So when you're playing the game and you're going in and you're shooting at someone and you need to reload, this hand has to move away. So what they've done is they've used a weaker magnet on this. This one only takes a 60-pound pull versus this one taking a 90-pound pull. So you're supposed to be able to shoot, you'd pull this away, grab your mag, stick it in your gun, and go back to gripping the gun. Or you could pull this away, grab your knife, stab someone. It's supposed to always have your left hand easily and freely move. One thing that's bugging me a little here is my other hand, even though this is a very strong magnet and magnet pull, I'm pulling it loose a little bit even now. So it's it's coming off here. I kind of wish, because you don't really need to detach this, I kind of wish there was a way to just have this stay attached maybe. There's some freedom and some slack, but what it kind of seems like might be happening is the magnet might not be making full contact because of the way this 3D plastic is hitting here, and it's just making it a little easier to move it than I want it to be. When you have this up like this in game, you're gonna be able to move this, but I keep doing this, which is kind of bothering me. They say that you want to practice with this for about an hour and a half before you actually take this into VR. Because what you want to do is you want to develop the muscle memory that's going to tell you, okay, I can unsnap this, grab my mag, snap it back. Because when you're in VR, you're not going to be able to see what you're doing. It's all 3D printed. It looks nice. They really did a good design with it, but you definitely feel that it's 3D printed. I mean, if you look at it in the light. And you can actually also buy the design if you wanted to 3D print this thing yourself, but you would still need metal rods and stuff too. I feel like the thing that I'm struggling with at the moment is I want to pull this tight into my shoulder. And what happens when I do that is I'm still feeling this right hand is coming loose a little bit on it. So it's probably usable in game, but you'd have to learn to like hold this tight without pulling. Otherwise you're gonna possibly have this come undone while you're playing. So that's a bit of a disadvantage there. So this piece shows that it goes to your right hand. It advertises that this is to help give you a better grip. I'm not exactly sure. So I guess it says that it gives your other hand something to touch on. So like maybe it kind of stops you from overturning here if you have this, but it definitely seems weird because I feel like what's gonna happen if I have this here, when I go to reload, is I'm gonna be hitting this piece. I don't really understand the point of this. Gives you a way to set it down and not easily, which is kind of nice. The left hand is easy to pull away, but like I said, I'm finding even though they've got that stronger magnet, the right hand is breaking away way too easily for my taste. I want that to stay tighter and more solid, because what's gonna happen when you're in game, both of these are loose, nothing is attached, and so pretty easily, if you're pulling back, if you're under pressure and you're in a situation where you're trying to pull that gun sight up to your eye quickly and hold it there against your shoulder, it's a real problem that this one comes loose. I think honestly what I would do, if you don't have to in-game, if you don't have to take this one off for any reason, each time I went to play, I would probably zip tie this thing right here and lock this in place, because I can't keep having this come loose when I'm under fire. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna go spend my time practicing with it for a while, and then I'm gonna get into Pavlov, Contractors. I'm gonna try this with different games and get back at you with some more final thoughts, because these worries I'm having right now, maybe they're unjustified, maybe they won't really be the case when I'm actually in game, I don't know. For the shoulder strap, it's probably smart since both of these can come detached to use it. So it looks like it just goes right here. And it looks like, depending on whether you're left or right-handed, you can put it on either side. I think it makes more sense to have it away from me, so I'm gonna start it there, and then I'll adjust it in game if that doesn't actually make sense. Okay, let's go play some games. The Sanlaki Gunstock, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the pros first. It delivers as far as a solid gun stock that you can hold on to in VR. I did have this issue a little bit still, but I found in VR it actually didn't bother me as much as I thought. So this does tend to break away a little too easily. I didn't go as far as filing it down or anything like that, like I was kind of considering. I ended up just testing it out like this. I did play with it for about 2 hours before getting in to get the muscle memory down, and I found that once I had done that, I did have a much easier time finding the gun, so I was able to pretty quickly snap it back in place while in game. It is definitely one of the coolest looking gun stocks. I've actually been just hanging it on my wall because I feel like it looks awesome. It's also more budget friendly than most of the other gun stocks, so I guess I would say that's the pros. The cons. You know it's 3D printed. You look at it, you can tell it's 3D printed. You feel it, it's 3D printed. It still feels pretty quality, but I mean, these metal pipes, when they go in, they feel like they can always turn more because they're screwing into plastic, and it just feels like they may not hold up super well. The pieces, when you go to take them apart, they're that plasticky 3D print feel. And one of the worst things about 3D printing, in my opinion, is it tends to be sharp. These edges are sharp. And when you're in VR and you're quickly moving around and you're hitting your hands on this, you end up scraping yourself, you end up hurting yourself. These pieces here are meant to be able to be left in the controllers between use if you wanted to. But I was trying to play another game, I was playing Pistol Whip while these were in here, and I scratched myself really good with one of these sharp edges. That pulled me out bad from my gaming experience, just trying to leave these there. So essentially you might be having to remove these every time you swap out of the game if you don't want to risk getting scratched. And they're not too hard to take out, but it is something that might be putting a little bit more risk on your controllers. They sent me the Quest 2 kit. If you look on the website, it says the Quest or Quest 2, so like the Rift S also. So I actually tried using this on my Rift S, and because the rings are stronger, it actually cracked one of the controllers a little bit. Not bad, the controller still works, but if you see it on the site and you think the gun's interchangeable, you go over to your friend's house and they have a Rift with this and you try to swap it out, you're risking breaking stuff doing that. So be very careful. If you get the Quest 2 kit or you get the Rift S Quick kit, do not try to swap them out. And the biggest drawback, I would say overall, because the gun is, you have to find the right spot. Like if you come here, the magnet doesn't lead you towards it, you have to find it. I found that in intense action-based fast first-person shooters like Pavlov, a lot of times when the game was getting heated, I ended up just dropping the whole gun stock off the side of me and on the strap and went back to playing normally. This would be great for like sniper-based games where you take your time and really line up shots, but in a fast-paced game, it gets in the way more than it does good. I believe there are gun stocks that can improve your game in fast-paced games, but I just don't think this one is it. So if you're someone who wants to play a lot of sniping games, a lot of slow-paced games where you're aiming shots and you want to feel that rifle, this is great. If you're an esports player, you're in intense, fast-paced situations, I don't think this is the gun stock I would get. We will be reviewing a Pro Tube. We just got sent one of those, so watch out for that coming up on the channel. Hopefully that'll be something for those really tense situations. But otherwise, if you're gonna get this, you're getting it because it looks cool and maybe because you're gonna use it from time to time for that. But overall, it's not functional enough for me to say this is a necessary upgrade for your Quest 2. And at $90, there's a lot of other things you could get for 90 bucks. So it's cool looking. If you want to check them out, Sanlaki Games, they do have a lot of different 3D printed accessories. We have a few more that we're going to check out and review on the channel here. So keep an eye out for those. Thank you so much for spending some of your time here with us today. And I want to say, I don't know what I want to say, but I will see you in another reality. I want to say the biggest thank you to those of you who have become channel members and any of you who have ever been patrons of ours. Gallium VR, Chris Deputy, Legacy VR, Bagel, and a Fissy King Sloth are current channel members. Our patrons, K27, Rocket Sauce 28, K Panda K, Fred Nepatebo, Ege Karatosh, Maddie's, Gallium VR, Orange VR, and Mr. Dodojo. Thank you so much everyone for supporting the channel.